Hey guys, it's Jen. This is another episode of Reframing Me, and I'm your host, Dr. Jennifer Brubaker. Thank you for coming back to the show. I am so thankful that you're here. If you are new, thank you for joining us. This is Reframing Me, and it's a space where moms who are raising teenagers can come to rediscover who they are as women beyond the frame of motherhood and hopefully pick up some helpful hints and some information that helps them to understand their teens and to make their families run more smoothly on the daily. I am a communication studies scholar, and so I use family communication as a foundation for our discussions. Now, if you are new or if you just jumped into this episode, this is part 2. And I actually, funnily enough, have very few two-parters. So the fact that you somehow started with a part 2 is actually pretty crazy, statistically speaking. But anyway, if you haven't listened to part 1, pause me, go and listen to part 1, and then come back so that it all makes better sense. Okay. Now, in part 1, we established all that ChatGPT is and what it isn't, and how we can help our teens to better understand that it is a great tool, but it is a starting point, not a final product. Now we get to talk about us. We're going to continue our conversation about AI, but let's talk about how we can use it for our personal growth and for goal setting and even for everyday or logistical help. All right. Because I actually literally never thought of any of this before. I was listening to a podcast a few weeks ago and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's actually a really good idea. I mean, it wasn't her idea. Apparently, it's a TikTok thing. I don't know. I am trapped in the hair tutorial and celebrity scandal side of TikTok right now. And hoodies, so many hoodies in my TikTok algorithm for some reason. I mean, I like hoodies. I do buy hoodies, but Jesus, you would not believe the quantity of hoodies in my algorithm. But anyway, I'm not even wearing a hoodie right now. I have a crew neck on, doesn't have a hood. But the practice that she did on this podcast, and so of course the practice that I did was to give ChatGPT like all of my wants and my hopes and my dreams, essentially everything I want for the future, like where I want to be, what I want to be doing, how I want to look and how I want to feel, what kinds of relationships that I want to have with my husband and with my kids and with, other people, what I want to accomplish by then and after that and each day and like anything that I could think of. I mean, the practice of just doing that alone, like typing all of that in was really great. Although, now that I'm saying it out loud, it does feel a bit like I just played into the hands of something, the robots. I don't really know what. And I mean, it's not like I gave them my social security number and bank account info or anything, but still, it's a good thing my husband doesn't listen to the show because I'm certain he would be like, what is wrong with you? And find like how it was going to hack into our lives or something like that. But anyway, don't give it your bank info, even if it asks nicely. And I'm sure we'll be fine, right? Okay, we're good. But after you put that stuff in, okay, then ask it to script a day in your life. Script a day in your life, like 3 years from now. That's what she suggested. And that's what I used. And apparently, then this is where the TikTok trend comes in. Like the TikTokers, they set up cameras to record them reading their response, like getting their response and reading it. And apparently, like the podcaster, oh, I should have mentioned, it's the podcast, The Law of Attraction Saved My Life. By the way, she is British and adorable, and she is super, super woo-woo, and I just love her. But anyway, she's the one who apparently has watched these TikToks. I have not because, like I said, unless these people are wearing a hoodie that is also available in the TikTok shop. I have not seen them. But apparently, when they read their scripts of a day in the life or whatever, they get all emotional and they cry reading it for the camera. Oh, that's ridiculous, you might say, right? Come on. Y'all, I'm not going to lie. When I read mine, maybe it was just the whole typing out what I want or what I'm dreaming of. But reading it, y'all, it was significantly more emotional than I would ever have thought it would be. Like I felt, that is what I want. It's like, is that my life? Seriously? It felt bizarrely like looking into the future and being maybe relieved or, I don't know, validated. I don't know, hopeful, but it was very cathartic. But, and I'm going to be very honest with you, I'm kind of mid existential crisis right now. I'll get into it more in our next Gen Z, I'm sure. But I'm just going to say, I have had bangs cut. And I think that we all know that very little signifies existential crisis more than cutting bangs. Maybe coloring your hair like a red or something, but I have reached bangs level of existential crisis. So yeah, and I can't remember where this whole activity fell into this crisis situation. But right now, what my days look like and my life feels like, and it doesn't look or feel like that life that I typed out. Like it resembles it ish, but it's not that life. And it feels like, how could I possibly get from here to there? Well, I don't know, obviously, right? But guess who does? ChatGPT does. Yep. So then the really cool and functional part of this activity, then you describe your current life, your current situation, what your days look like now, and you ask ChatGPT to give you actionable steps to help you get from here to there. So essentially, how do I take this life and get to that life? And y'all, it literally gives you steps and tips and ideas of how to get to where you want to be. It's kind of amazing because a lot of them are actually good ideas that I think I'm actually going to try. So that's the next part of our conversation because I know, and please, if I am the only one, don't tell me because it's incredibly comforting to at least think. But I do know that I am not the only one who is going through an existential crisis like at this particular moment. I am not the only one who is like 48 years old and happy, but questioning so many things, doubting and asking and wondering about like everything. And I know that that totally sounds dramatic, and maybe it is. But again, I have cut bangs. So we are at a whole different level of chaos right now in my head. But yes, even beyond existential crisis, let's talk about how we as adults, as not students, but as women, as moms, let's talk about how we can use AI to enhance our lives or our goals or navigate our next steps because game changer. AI can totally be a game changer for us too. We know, I don't need to say, we know that we are balancing so much our careers and our families and fitting in fitness. And maybe some of y'all wild ones out there are managing to fit in a social life too. And to make sure that we're all drinking enough water and eating enough protein and somehow trying to find ourselves in the process of all of this. Well, AI, it can lighten our load a bit by taking over the more mundane or administrative tasks so that we can focus on the creative and fulfilling parts of our lives. So first, my favorite, of course, is the goal setting part. You can do that day in the life script I already told you about. And you can do the give me the how to get from here to there part. But you can also then take it even farther and read that script into your voice notes app on your phone. Record the script from that ideal day that it made for you. I did this, and I think mine was about 4 minutes long. And then you can listen to it like every day, just when you are doing something else, something that you do regularly, like brush your teeth or in the shower or when you're getting ready, but listen to it regularly. It can be a great part of the whole visualization manifestation process. Or maybe you're not even there yet. Maybe you're like, I have no idea where I want to be in 3 months, let alone 3 years, or who I want to be, or what I want to be doing. None of it. And that is totally okay too. Girl, I have been there too. But you don't need to know what you want. You can even use AI to start at the bottom. You can start with just finding your vision. You can start by asking ChatGPT to help you to clarify your long-term goals. So maybe like asking, how can I identify what's most important to me over the next 5 years? And just like our kids, it can become a jumping off point for you. Or maybe you know that you've always been a good writer. You kind of want to write a book. ChatGPT could help you to explore potential topics or potential audiences. And then once you have a clear goal, you can use ChatGPT to then create more actionable steps. So, or maybe you just hypothetically speaking, obviously, but perhaps one could ask for help to say outline steps to transition from academia to a full-time podcasting career. Just maybe. Or steps of how to get back into the workforce with a 20-year-old marketing degree, or how to start a food service business, or whatever it is that your little heart desires. You can use ChatGPT to even set deadlines. You can turn those steps into a specific timeline. So you can be like, great ideas. I told you I like to be complimentary of my AI, but these are great ideas. But how can I organize these tasks into a realistic schedule? Again, you may need to include what your daily life looks like right now. I have like 10 free hours a week. You can tell them, how do I make this happen? Or I love this, but I don't have the drive or the motivation that I think this requires. So you can ask for help to overcome those obstacles. Like, what should I do if I feel stuck or if I lose motivation? So yeah, it's kind of therapy adjacent. But remember, AI is trained off of data. So the more data that you can give it, the better the results it will give you. So the more you put in, the more it can give you out. So be specific. You can also use AI to learn something new. Maybe you want to learn about investing in real estate or the stock market. You can ask ChatGPT to give you an overview of the subject. So explain the basics of investing in real estate. Or maybe it's fitness. So you could ask, what's the best way to start strength training at home? Or you can ask for recommendations for books or videos or tutorials, something to help you learn. So maybe what are the best beginner-friendly resources to learn about photography, or about web design, or how to make your own bread? Again, whatever your little heart desires. And it doesn't need to be all idealistic either. You can ask for step-by-step instructions. Walk me through the steps to make my own bread. Or how can I improve my cooking? Or there are practical ways that we can use AI to make our lives easier. We can use these tools to create schedules or to plan trips. We can just input our needs and our preferences and let the tool handle the logistics. This actually would be a fabulous example to reference for our kids, like to use it as a jumping off point. I mean, you're not going to ask ChatGPT to plan your trip and then just show up at the airport or just show up at a hotel, right? No, you use it as a starting point and then you go in and you manage the particulars. You need to do things like verify the existence of said hotel or the availability of the flight and book the flight and all of those things. That is using it as a tool. Or if you can use it to help with running your side hustle. I use ChatGPT for my summaries. I get the transcript after I record or whatever. I get the transcript and I upload it into ChatGPT and I ask it to generate an SEO friendly summary because I'm going to be honest, I don't really quite understand the whole SEO thing. And I certainly don't know the SEO friendly terms off the top of my head. So I did the creative part. I did the research and the work. So I let the robot summarize it for me. It's a tool just like my audio editor is. We can use it, which I totally need to do this. It is one of my New Year's resolutions to be better with dinners. I've gotten super bad at cooking dinner since my oldest has gone to college because I feel like he was the only one who appreciated me having meals and me having dinners. My husband can kind of take it or leave it. And the other two, they just are never happy with what I give them to eat. So I have really gotten bad with dinners. Add it to the crisis list. But we can use it for our meal planning and for grocery shopping. You can even use AI to suggest recipes based on your dietary preferences or create a shopping list for you. Like I already said, you can use it to create a detailed travel itinerary for your interests and your budget. I know I'm definitely going to do this for our next trip. And I imagine, I know because I have planned enough trips for heaven's sake, but I know it will save hours of research. You can use AI for financial planning or to generate a budget or to track expenses or to plan for a larger investment like vacations or home renovations. But again, still don't give it your bank info, okay? All right. Maybe the robots, maybe they are taking over, but hopefully they're not. Hopefully they're actually just taking over the legwork and the boring parts, and they are working for us. And just in case they're not, be super nice to them and very complimentary so that they do treat you well when they take over. But yes, the concept of AI can totally be overwhelming. But if it is used thoughtfully and responsibly, then things like ChatGPT, they can be absolutely a fabulous tool to help all of us, including our kids. It can help all of us to learn and to grow and to navigate the world around us. It's not about replacing our efforts or their efforts or stunting critical thinking skills, but I think it's about enhancing them. And the same goes for all of us. We can all use AI to reflect and to plan and to learn. And then we can go ahead and then take those meaningful steps towards the life that we want to create. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today and always. I appreciate every single one of you. And I would really love if you could share the show or this episode with a friend, maybe take a couple of minutes to give the show a 5-star rating and to write a glowing review of it and of me. Give me a follow on socials. We're at Reframing Me on Instagram and on TikTok, and Reframing Me on Facebook, and Reframing Me, the podcast community on Facebook. And until next time, be well and communicate.